Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of Duckin' Around with my gear, tales from the guitars that made me, no judgment allowed. Just had my first full week of school back with the students, and I am also playing my last open mic at Yonda's for a while because it's my last free Wednesday this week. I'll be tied up with teaching religious ed to my 9th graders at church, and so that'll be full until about May. So there'll still be other playing. Like I said on Facebook, we have a Christmas album coming out. In the summer, we'll have my solo album coming out. There might be some shows coming up soon too. Might be some other YouTube features. I got stuff spinning, and I am writing songs for albums next year and the years after. Like, we've got a lot of material that I am just stacking, so I'm just fitting in. But somebody once told me, they asked about my guitars that were on the wall and wanted me to talk about my gear. I said, is it okay if I talk about gear? And they're like, yeah, do that. That'd be fun content. So, disclaimer, most of these guitars are moderately priced guitars. I like gear. I own more gear than I should. I'm a guy in Grand Island, Nebraska who plays for fun, whose job kind of limits me from playing too much. And I do not make my money back at all from this. I have put more money into this expensive hobby than I've earned back. The thing is, this hobby isn't as expensive as it could have been because they're moderately priced. But anyhow, I'm just going to talk about everything gear-wise. In this first one, we're going to talk about my first guitar, and her name is Shammy right here. And she is an Ibanez Stagestar, and you probably never heard of the Stagestar. Well, when I was a freshman in high school, that would have been in the late 1900s. 1999, I was bussing tables for my parents' restaurant, and I really wanted a guitar, and I wanted an electric guitar because I wanted to be cool. Now, there weren't any guitar teachers in North Platte back then. Now there are, thank goodness. No one taught me. I struggled through this. It wasn't until college I met other guitar players and I started to pick up stuff. But anyhow, the music store had these Ibanez Jumpstart. Excuse me, I said it wrong. Ibanez. I've been corrected many times. Ibanez is the correct way. I've been shamed online so much for saying Ibanez. It's Ibanez. So to those who have flamed me in the past, that's why. But this is a Stagestar. It was in a Jumpstart pack. So this is a bottom of the barrel, lowest of the low Ibanez. This was before the Geo series was made, and it is weird. It is a weird, quirky guitar. But this originally was a fat Strat. It had a white pickguard. It had single, and humbucker. And it had a volume knob and a tone knob. I modded it several different times. I tried all sorts of pickup configurations, and because of Eddie Van Halen. I didn't feel comfortable doing the stripe paint job. I still feel off. I read in an interview, even though Eddie allowed the striped guitars to be sold near the end of his life, it bothered him seeing other people perform with the striped guitars. So this is very Frankenstrat in a lot of things. It's my Frankenstrat. I took Eddie's inspiration and made it my own, which Eddie would have liked. Eddie would have approved. But here's the weird thing. I don't know what kind of wood this is, if it's alder or agatis, but it is heavy. This guitar is heavier than bass guitars. It is heavier than Les Pauls. No kidding. I have had Gibson Les Paul players pick this up and they're like, whoa! And if you see me play this, if you meet me, seriously, I will let you see how heavy. This is the heaviest guitar ever. I have lifted a lot of guitars, and this was this is for little kids. Little kids watching Sesame Street at home with their Elmo stuffed animal with a Tootsie Pop and putting together one of those little bus. Not kidding. But kids for this one. And look how chonky, how thick That's like thicker. Oh, look at that. It's like Pulp Fiction, the briefcase. Ah, that's kind of cool. I didn't plan that when I got the mirrored pickguard. Ooh, let me tell you about Shammy, my first guitar. Woo! Oh, I'm having too much fun with this. But anyhow, look how thick that is. And then also the upper horn is almost more cut like a Wolfgang, almost. It's not very pointy at all. It has a maple neck, which is not bad. It's not my ideal maple neck, but it fits well in my hand, and because it's my first guitar, my hand knows it the best. And I've done special mods, Eddie, and what I did, first of all, I got a brass nut on it. The original black and white Frankenstrat had a brass nut. In the 70s, they used brass nuts. A lot of music stores will not put a brass nut on because it's a pain in the butt for them to do. I am very glad Rob Kittle put this on for me years ago. I'm glad he did that. So thank you, because nowadays people are like, no, we're going to put a bone nut or a Graphtec nut. No, no, no. I'm glad I got it for the Mojo. I don't know if it had a huge difference on the sound, but it's there. I like D'Addario products whenever I can. D'Addario, and that's how you say it. Once again, I have said it all other ways in the past, and I have been shamed into oblivion and said it's not D'Addario, it's not Dario, it's D'Addario. And I've checked with professionals, and they say D'Addario. So that's how I will always say D'Addario. That's what I've gotten my butt kicked too much for saying it other ways. But I use the D'Addario. They originally were these were Planet Waves before they were taken over by D'Addario. They are the auto trim locking tuners. They're just convenient. I'm lazy. I didn't have guitar lessons as a kid, so I've had to teach myself how to wrap strings, and to be honest, I don't feel 100% confident. I don't. If I don't have locking tuners, I'll actually try to get the store to do it, because I know how to restring a guitar, but I just don't have any swag doing it. I feel like, am I doing it right? Like, that's what I feel like. And also for a headstock tuner, I know people say these look trashy on stage. I like the little compact D'Addario thing. Yes, my pedal board has a built-in tuner, but I like just having this here. It's discreet, it's clippy. I like it. I'm going to do it. I play in Grand Island. I'm not trying to do anything huge. I have 800 some followers on YouTube, which is more than the average bear, but it's far from being viral. So there's that. I do have Dunlop strap locks, which when I was starting out, when I was just a youngin', I thought I had to get these. Now I prefer the D'Addario auto locking strap, or I prefer the little rubber washers, whether you get them. I don't drink, so if I get someone else to drink a 4-pack of Grolsch beer and put the washers on, or the Fender and Ernie Ball make non-alcoholic beer washers to put on there, I prefer those over these, but these were put on. They're solid, they've never failed, and you can put a regular strap on this, but they're here. They're okay, and this strap right here is a Celtic pattern that matched this. I bought this when I was a freshman in high school with my own money bussing tables, and I had a choice between black and white or green and white, and I said, I'm going to get black because black matches with everything. It's practical. And my dad said, no, you're not. And I was like, it's my money. And he goes, no, you're not. Your high school, the mascot is the Irish. Your high school colors are green and gold. You're a freshman. This is going to be a memory. You're going to get the green one for your school. And I just took a breath. I'm like, okay, Dad. And you know what? I am glad. Black is I do own one black guitar. And it's all right, but black has become my least favorite guitar color. So my dad, I know it seems terribly pushy of him, but he had my best interest at heart. And then, yeah, like I said, I modded the electronics eventually. I was like, why don't I just do a green and gold in my school's colors? So Dragonfire hooked me up with this. And of course, because it's a weird shape, one of my Mark Schaefer, the best guitar tech in all of Nebraska, potentially the Midwest. I'm going to say that. I'll name drop him. He was the one who helped me trim this up. He taught me and kind of helped me trim it up. It's not perfect because the weird shape, but it fits. So this is Dragonfire. What I love is Dragonfire. They have all sorts of colors. They've got way more than you'd need. And you can get it preloaded with any of their pickups. Their pickups are made by Artec, which are not Seymour Duncan level. They're just a notch above most stock pickups, I would say. They're nice, though. If you just want to try something different that you know is not going to be legitimate professional, which for your first guitar, Frankenstrat, that's perfect. I went with a little bit of Van Halen mojo. I went with an Alnico 2 in the neck and an Alnico 5 in the bridge. Not an Eddie pickup, but it approximates that. The 5150 used an Alnico 5, and that's my favorite. Kind of the 1984 Van Halen tone. Then 84 5150 used Alnico 5. Later in his career and life, Eddie switched to Alnico 2, and most people do. I get kind of, some different. The Alnico 2 is very smooth, and when I blend them, they blend together very smooth. Like, you would think these are totally matched, but 2 in the neck, 5 in the bridge is a nice combination. And by the way, we're not going to get a great sample. I'm in my apartment, and yes, I rent. I'm a single guy. I am a celibate ordained deacon. I work 2 jobs, and I'm a deacon at church. If something breaks at my house, I need someone else to pay for it, and I don't have time to mow a lawn. I know many people are like, you got to build equity. And for a single guy, there's no reason. Who's going to stay single forever? There ain't no reason to buy a house. So I'll be in here, and then when I get too old to go up the stairs, right across the street, there's kind of old folks type home. And then after that, if I'm too old for that, just a couple blocks, I'll go to the assisted living. I've got my life all set out. So, but anyhow, because I'm in the apartment, we have the Boss Katana Mini. I prefer the OG one. I don't like the one that connects with an app. I know that's a little bit Luddite of me, but I like everything to be as close to analog as possible. I really do. But, it's not going to give you a great sample of sound, but and also my electrics, I don't play them out much more because Lucky Ducky is mainly folk, but hopefully we can rock a little more. But, just the Alnico 2. And by the way, I do 1 tone knob, cause Eddie. And also humbuckers, you don't really need, not one. 1 volume knob labeled tone, like Eddie. And humbuckers don't really need a tone knob. Singles, they do. And also the washer, I really liked Eddie in high school. And the neck is Sammy. The bridge says Dave. It's a little wink to Eddie. Because in the Dave era, they used Alnico 5. In the Sammy era, they used Alnico 2. So that's kind of the thing. But, in the neck, just kind of. And then blending them. I really like to be in the middle, though. And the bridge, So yeah, I know the sound is not great. Please don't say you sound like a dying cat. It's from this little lunchbox amp. So I'm a good neighbor, and the one thing I do like about this Katana Mini, it has a setting called brown, which if you're a Van Halen fan, Van Halen in a box, you get kind of a little bit of a, whoops, sorry. But yeah, like I said, I don't play as much electric as I do acoustic, but these are fun. They're toys. This is my first guitar. Other mods. I have stainless steel saddles, and I have a big GFS brass block, and I would say switching the block to brass does make a difference. It resonates, the whole guitar vibrates more. It's more than mojo. I think the brass block on any Strat, I'm a big fan of that. Yeah, the stainless steel saddles. But the interesting thing about this, it had a whammy bar, and whammies are a pain in the neck. When I get to my Kramer Barretta special, I'll talk more about that. It's the only guitar I have with whammy. I like Eddie, but only one guitar. Whammies are a pain, but when I was trying to install it with the block, the whammy bar broke just perfectly flush. And you could drill and get it out, or I could buy another block, but I just thought, you know what? The guitar just decided it wanted to be hardtailed when it broke that cleanly. Look at that. Yeah, the guitar just didn't want a whammy bar. It politely refused it. So, yeah, that's just something, but that's my first guitar, and it's fun to play. Got the little shamrock sticker. My high school's mascot was the Irish, and it's a tribute to being high school. My first guitar, I was a high school kid who loved Van Halen. It's the Frankenstrat, but without the stripes, and it's my own thing. It's got the brass nut, the brass block, got the Alnico 5 and the Alnico 2, so there's the Eddie Van Halen homage. We got the one-tone knob. I mean, it's, yeah. Also, one quirk. The truss rod does not work on this at all, but the neck stays totally still. The neck does not relieve or go forward or anything. No one can explain why. But it is perfectly dialed in. This thing has the lowest action of any guitar without buzzing. You know, it's very low, but look how low we got the bridge saddles. They are decked to the bottom. I have never seen that on a guitar, but it works. And so yeah, for power chords, bar chords are so easy on. So yeah, it's my first guitar and my first love. And we married it. Just saying, I made it better, and it's good. It's got some finish cracks in it. That's mojo. It's earned mojo, and also I had a blue pickguard on this a while, too, in one of the preliminary mods, and it started to delaminate, and I tried to glue it back, and there's little glue stuck that kind of fell off the pickguard, and they couldn't get it off, but that's okay. Chicks dig scars. That's what the pickup truck commercials say. So, I'm okay with that. It's a little bit rough. I still treat it like a baby. I still will polish it. I don't just toss it everywhere, you know, like Eddie would toss the Frankenstrat, but I like it. That's Shammy for you. So, sounds really nice, you know. Yeah, that's a 1999 Ibanez Stagestar. Not a well-known guitar. In fact, the last time I had work done on it, the guy's like, oh, that's a vintage Ibanez. I'm like, okay. So, yeah, I hope you liked this. Hope to let me know in the comments if you'd like more gear videos. And don't shame me for the gear. This was what I could afford as a kid, and I'm not that good. Nor am I claiming to be. I'm just showing you the guitars that I have and like and cherish. Have a good one. Quack you later.